you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you
you
so
also.
much, sis.
Thank you for the opportunity to share. Sexual addiction is something that is a bit personal to me, because especially we are Christians, we are already commanded not to engage in things like this. It's against the law and all of that. But as a mental health counselor, it's very important that I help you understand that in as much as people want to be free from sexual immorality, sexual addiction, it is not always just that easy. You might tell people, go and pray, and I'm praying, but it's really no, I don't know, I still find myself doing all of this. So it's very important that you know why you are sexually addicted, why you are drawn to all of the sexual activities, why you are not able to control yourself, why you're not able to have that self-control, especially as a single and as a married person. So thank you, Tola, for this awareness that you are creating as a marriage counselor. Your clients or people need to know that being sexually when people need to understand that it's very important to preserve yourself, keep yourself, just be whole before you get into marriage and all. So it's always that easy. So people have been, active, sexually active, and they're now in a place of celibacy, and they're like, oh, this is tough. How do I keep myself? Until marriage, when I've been active before, I've been engaging in sexual relations. So how do I now preserve myself? How do I keep my mind sane, as I go into marriage? So it's not just about, I know prayer, of course, prayer works, but it's very important that you know what you are praying about. You need to be aware so that you can direct your prayer well. So before we go into that, I'm going to give a quick example, a short story, then we'll dive into this. So this short story is about a lady, and this lady, she was active, sexually active before marriage, engaged in premarital sex and all of that. But about to get married now, she's like, well, I don't want to have sex anymore. Let's just face the marriage. But unfortunately, maybe a spouse or who she wanted to be a spouse, which is the groom or a fiance, wasn't having it, and they engaged in sexual relations, and they got married. And when they got married, they begin to have issues. They begin to have issues of, imagine the sex that they've been having all this while. They got into marriage now, and they're having issues. They cannot engage in these sexual relations anymore. The lady has, she now became a bit, what was the word? Like maybe tired. She's not interested. The man wants it at all time. So you see, it's not as, and the woman wanted sex all along before, right? And now they're in marriage and they cannot just find that common ground when it comes to their sexual life. So what now happened? They had so many issues, separated, until this lady began to understand, wow, what was going on? I was very active before. I loved, to have sex. So why am I not engaging in this anymore? She went to see therapy, and the therapist brought her, help her understand. And then the problem is that sex is okay. Sex is not as important as intimacy for the lady. When a woman just wants to seek validation, she just wants to feel loved, she just wants to be with somebody. So sex is there, but she doesn't really want sex. She just wants that intimacy. So she feels that having sex will bring that intimacy for her. So not knowing that when they traced it, not knowing that this woman had what we call attachment issues. Like growing up, she was abused as a child or as a teenager. And she had so many sexual, a lot of sexual activities when she was young, and she began to engage in sexual activities as a young child because of the abandonment issues she had with her parents. There was neglect, there was abuse, there was just unresolved trauma. Let me just sum it up. So she had unresolved trauma that's been affecting her, and just she carried it down to her marriage. So she didn't know that this was what was going on with her. So you see that, you can begin to now judge her, like, why are you not giving your husband sex? Why is it your husband that wants sex more, but used to be active before, used to like sex? So what happened? So you see that there is a cost, there's a risk. And again, on the husband side, he also had abuse. He was also abused when he was young. He had some women, like, yes, women or older women, kind of abused him. And so he has gone through, he has exposed himself to pornography, masturbation as a child, as a young, teenager. So everything is just in his mind. Now imagine these two people meeting
and
married,
coming together as a couple.
the couple. Are you seeing the problem? So because
the collabo. I'm sorry to cut you, please. I'm so sorry to. This thing that you're talking about, I actually learned about this, and I'm really glad that you are giving us like a scenario to paint the two sides to this. During my counseling training, I learned that there are actually 3 different types of couples when it comes to sexual behavior. 2 people, a man and a woman who have never had sex before. The second couple will be either a partner has had it before, while the other hasn't had it before. And the third one will be 2 people who have been sexually active. So their experiences will be different. Do you understand? And especially for people that have been sexually abused. So you are going to have 2 reactions. It's either a man or a woman, because of their experience, their abuse experience. It's either the person is reserved when it comes to sex, doesn't want it, or it could be to the other extreme, wanting it, and then it now becomes like an addiction kind of. So now imagine the collabo. Now it's going to be a very difficult, so difficult, thank you very much. I just thought to
so I painted,
thank you very much for the
so I painted, I give you that story so you can understand, because not every virgin is trauma free. You can be a virgin
or sexually free or sexually pure.
So you might have kept yourself, you might have not engaged in sexual relations, but you have unresolved trauma. If you get married with that, it will affect your marriage. So it's very important that you, as I usually say, I don't know if I say it a lot, that before you get into marriage, please drop all the baggages. Please go see a therapist. Please see a counselor, see a mental health therapist, so you know know who you are. More like you're going to an hospital for a checkup, a general checkup, right? You are going to be able to do all those tests when the hospital, your church asks you to do tests and all that. But you are not seeing a mental health counselor for your mind. You just do tests at the hospital, do 1 week counseling, and that is the end. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. You have to go down to the root, like, what is going on with me? Do I need therapy is very, very important, please, that before you get into marriage, drop all these baggages, have conversation with your spouse. So let me not jump over myself. So I'm going to give you a particular misconception about sexual addiction, and in therapy we call it we also call it compulsive sexual behavior disorder. So most times not really though it's a sexual addiction, but because they've not been able to, they're still trying to diagnose sexual addiction as a mental health disorder. So they've not really placed it as a mental health disorder, because it actually is a symptom. It's not a real issue. Addiction is not the real problem. Addiction is a symptom. It's a sign of something. Addiction happens because of something. There's something you are running from. There's something you are trying to avoid. There's something you are trying to achieve. And addiction is a way of getting it. Let me give you another example. So there's a way our brain works. It's something in our brain that when you release for example, now you want to eat food. You like your favorite. Tola, what's your favorite food? What is your favorite food?
Mine? Oh, okay, let's just say rice.
Rice is your favorite food, and you love rice so much. And whenever you eat rice,
Right.
only the thought of eating rice, it gives you that satisfaction. Like, I can't wait to eat this rice. I can't wait to eat this rice. And maybe you just came back from work and you are stressed, and that rice just comes. Oh my God, you are so happy. Like, you just eat the rice.
Happy.
That satisfaction that you get.
You get
So
from me, yeah.
exactly. So the brain has a reward system. Is driven by something like by a neurotransmitter that is called dopamine. So dopamine is released during pleasurable activity. So it's not just about sex. It could be
Activities,
food.
yeah.
Yes, it could be food. It could be game. It could be substance abuse. All of
Yeah.
that. So
Something you
when you
love.
when you engage in that thing, in that activity, it releases that dopamine that it just gives you that, like, man, I really love this. So
Excitement.
exactly. So people that are sexually addicted, it could be that they have been there's this overactivation. They've been the sexual stimuli has been overactivated. So it's once because of that pleasure that they feel, that's how your brain is telling you, like, your brain is telling you that, why not repeat it again? Repeat it again now, take more rice. Tomorrow eat rice again. You like
Again.
ice cream, go and eat ice cream again. You like that sex, you enjoyed it, you had an orgasm, you enjoyed it, right? The person touched you in the right part, you repeat it. So it's telling you to go and repeat that activity. So it's compulsive. So you are going back there, you are going back to repeat it, you're going back to repeat it, you're going back to repeat it. That is where the addiction comes from. So you are trying to satisfy a need. There is a pleasure that you enjoy it so much that you want to always go back there, especially maybe when the person really meets your need. So you see how the addiction works. There's another thing again that can be a reason why people are addicted. There's something we call in the brain, it's called a prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that is responsible for decision making, impulse behavior, and all of that. So it can be that that particular place has been altered, and you make some decisions and you don't even care anymore. Irrational behavior, you see that irrational behavior, you see that's nothing. Like, people that engage in sexual behaviors like addiction, they don't really care about the consequences anymore.
Consequences.
So your prefrontal
If I
cortex has
perish,
been
I perish.
altered.
I can
You don't.
imagine.
Yes, for example, now a man that is is cheating, constantly cheating on his wife. You know that there is a consequence for it. What if you get HIV
But
outside? What if you, God forbid, something happened? Boys, thank you, Shay. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. What if what you don't really care at that particular? You just want to satisfy
care
that need.
about, yeah.
Exactly. That is what happens. So let me give you some signs that shows that you are sexually addictive. You are sexually addicted. You want sex every time. Because I'm trying to build this up so I can tell you how you can solve this particular problem,
This
especially if you're still
problem.
single and you are married. I'm going to address the single, I'm going to address the married, but let me give you some signs
Married, yeah.
you are sexually addicted. You want, you have this compulsive sexual behavior disorder, and you need to see a therapist for that. If you are experiencing some of this, please take notes. Number one is that you have tried to stop this thing several times, but it has not worked. Like, I'll call it an unsuccessful attempt, to stop. You find yourself always going back. You find yourself always watching porn. You find yourself always masturbating. You find yourself always wanting
Masturbating.
to sex text. You find yourself always wanting to go to maybe a strip club, just to watch people naked. You find yourself, just wanting to engage in that. You try, you pray, but it's not sure working. You might just, chill for like 1 month, 2 months, you go back again. You're trying to stop, but it doesn't work. That's one sign. Another one is that you are engaging in it while knowing that it has consequences. Like I mentioned earlier, you know this is wrong,
Earlier.
but you still want to go ahead
Yet you
and do
continue.
it. That means you are having this compulsive sexual behavior disorder. Another thing is that you use that as a coping mechanism. Yes, people do this. Maybe they are stressed. They don't know how to cope with the stress, and they come back home and they engage in sexual addiction. Married men, married women, they're tired. They're stress, especially when there's no good communication in the marriage. The man can just, just make himself feel okay by watching porn to relieve stress. You're trying to run away from something, so you just let me just do this, I beg, because there's also been proven that people who are engaged in sexual, who have this compulsive sexual behavior disorder, started when they were younger. Especially people that are from toxic family. When be a father and a mother, they're always fighting, quarreling. The child will just maybe go somewhere. Usually guys just go and I beg. At least where I'm here now, this place, there's nobody is making me feel bad. So let me just focus on this porn, masturbate and feel alright. And the more the guys gets older and it becomes an habit. So it's very important that as a family, please build your family, husband and wife, love each other, have
peace,
communicate, very important. Communicate. If you know your husband, you feel like your husband is not satisfying you well, can you please talk? Especially when maybe you have been active before, you know how sex is. You slept with somebody before, right? And maybe you now meet somebody that is not, because it happens. Like it's registered in your brain. You've enjoyed this relationship before, but if you keep on holding on to that, you will not be able to enjoy your marriage.
You can
go ahead, please.
To handle in cases like that, you could read books instead of, because I've had a lady ask, oh, why is it that they ask us not to watch pornography? So how do we learn about sex? Someone might be wondering that, okay, if you are saying that, okay, I really desire to get better, to experience a better sex life, so how do I go about it? And you are saying I should not watch pornography. I've seen a comment like that before.
Pornography is the worst place to learn.
You are not. It's not. You can read books. In fact, I even wrote down a couple of books. The Art of Marriage. There are books by Pastor Kingsley and Pastor Mildred on sexual intimacy. Also, Pastor Bisi Adewale also has a number of books on sex. You can also join places like Awesome Sexuality on Instagram, on YouTube channel, to understand yourself and to have
and
a
better.
Also
say we have lots of sexologists, we have sex therapists.
Sexologists.
These are something that one should not be ashamed of anymore.
Ashamed of, in this time and age,
exactly.
Book a session.
With a sex therapist, with a sexologist. I'm having issues in my marriage. I don't know how to do this thing. Can you help us? And they will help you. People are just thinking that my business is out there, but this is a professional. Professionals will help you, and like you said, also books help you. You might want to read about them, but don't read it alone. Read it with your partner. Make sure that you are together. And for singles, don't read me. I don't know about that, but I don't. I feel like your counselor should be able to help you guys. If you're a single person, guide you on how to read. Don't go and be reading sexual books with your fiancé in the same room. Hey, we don't recommend that though.
Fire on the mountain.
On the mountain, don't smell what you cannot eat.
Except when you are about to get married, like you are actually about to get married, engaged and about to get married. You can read books on sex, but it's essential for you to know that maybe you might need to, you don't have to do it together. You don't have to be together, so that you don't start practicing what you are reading. So it's essential to put that out there. And for the married, it's important to know that, because I learned during counseling training that when you say, oh, I want to learn more about sex, and then you start watching pornography, you can't learn that way, because the people you are watching, they are different from what you and your spouse will experience. So it's essential for you to know that it's not real. It's not real.
Movie. And
it's not real. Yeah.
Drive a car and you're watching Fast and Furious. Exactly. You can't learn how to drive a car that way. So
it's better to read books.
Pornography is the worst place to to learn how to make love and all of that. So I also want to let us know the impact of sexual addiction or compulsive sexual behavior disorder in people's lives. It impacts your life. Sexual addiction could ruin somebody's life, could ruin a marriage, could ruin a relationship, could ruin your finances. Imagine when somebody's so addicted to sex. And like I said earlier, sex addiction is not just wanting sex every time. That's not it. It's not wanting sex every time. When you say the person likes sex too much, it's not, that's not sexual addiction. So people can just really love to want, have sex with their wife or their husband, but that doesn't mean they're sexually addicted. It becomes sexual addiction when it begins to affect your life. When it begins to
negatively.
It begins to affect
you can't do without it.
Exactly. You can't focus. You can't concentrate. It's affecting your money. It's affecting your job. It's affecting your daily life. It's making you depressed. Like if you don't have it, your head is spinning, you are anxious and all of that. So that is when it is a disorder. Loving sex is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not. Sex is a beautiful thing. But when
in fact, as a matter of fact, if you are married, you should love it because it's a very essential aspect of marriage. Yeah.
Exactly. So it only becomes a problem when it begins to affect your mental health. It begins to affect every part of your life. That is when it is a problem. So I mentioned that the impact on people's life, it can make you have kind of low self-esteem. You don't believe in yourself anymore. You feel like nobody must know what I do in secret. You lack confidence. Yes, you cannot come out and tell people
you hide.
Exactly.
Because it's a shameful.
You feel shameful. And that is the awareness we're trying to create now, that if you feel that way, that means it's messing with your mind already.
That means you shouldn't be doing that thing in the first place.
But yes, I know, but it's always like that. That means you should know that you
like
need
that,
help.
yeah.
You should know you need help. So when you begin to see that nobody must know what I'm going through, it has become something you feel like it's shameful. That's when you need to now go to see a therapist. Like, I think I'm suffering. I'm going through all of this. I really want to stop, but I find it difficult to stop. I've tried every means to stop, and I cannot stop. So also it affects your relationship. You see a man or a woman, or let me just say a woman, for example, now, who, I mentioned earlier that there's a way a man and a woman see sex is very different. Especially when, for example, now a woman who has gone through abuse and all of that, and she's married to somebody, and this person does not understand what this person has gone through. It's not an excuse for cheating. No, I'm not saying that because your husband does not give you the satisfaction or the validation that you feel. It's not an excuse, but I'm saying that you should now understand that you need to seek help. If, for example, now maybe some people, some women who because they don't get that love, that intimacy from their husbands, they now want to seek it somewhere else. And the only way the woman wants to, the only thing, yes, that's how she can interpret the intimacy that she's looking for, having sex. But at the end of the day, you see that maybe the one that has had sex, because most times when you're addicted to this sex, it's not that you really want to have sex. You just want to satisfy it. At the end of the day, you might not even enjoy it. So that means something is wrong. So you see, it has affected a relationship because of unresolved trauma, unresolved pain, lack of communication, lack of understanding from the spouse. Because not everybody, I don't understand. So because you had a problem when you were young, so that's why you not cheated on me. But like I said, it's not an excuse for cheating. But if you have a spouse that is a bit understanding, that understands mental health and all of that, if you really want this marriage to work, you maybe can assist your wife. Of course, the Bible says you can forgive everybody. Right? So also it applies to men that they begin to maybe cheat, they carry, just engage in different sexual relations, affecting their finances, spending money. Like somebody said that cheating is expensive.
expensive. Oh.
Yes, so you will spend money, you know, and all of that.
Because side
You
chick
want
will not manage you. Your wife can
exactly.
manage with you
Exactly.
and be
So,
understanding.
but so a side chick doesn't want to understand
Yeah.
anything. So you see that it's
Because
costing
she wants to build with you, but a side chick is not building anything with you.
you. Exactly. So you see that it costs
Yeah,
so
I can
much,
imagine.
finances and
Mm.
all of that. And when it begins to affect, you can't function well as a father or as a husband in the house. There's this, you know, distance between you and the spouse. You see that there's a lot of impact on
Impact, yeah,
of
negative
sexual
impact.
negative impact of sexual
Mm.
addictions. People also, like I said, it also causes lack of focus and concentration. You may not be able to focus on what you are doing. You are easily distracted. You are just from here, from this place to another place. You can't focus. You can't focus on the task and finish it. It's crazy. Sex is good, but of course, I believe that devil has hijacked it and made it something else.
Hijack.
Yeah,
And we are doing this to depopulate the kingdom of
yeah,
darkness. I believe
uh,
that this will bless someone today by
yeah,
God's grace.
yes. So
Thank you very much.
now let me go. I don't know if anybody has a question, but before I go into how to solve,
So yeah,
how to break free from compulsive sexual behavior disorder. If you have
disorder.
any question, yeah, because actually a disorder is actually a
Yeah,
disorder. Yeah, it's not just, it's something that has to do with the mind. Because if someone that
mind.
has sexual addiction comes to my session now, I know the kind of techniques to use for that person to help him
Mm.
or her break free. So I'm going to be sharing with you, I think, just something simple, quick tips I feel is going to help you to break free from this. And again, understand that this is a journey. Addiction does not just break at once, so that you don't relapse. Like, okay, let me just be celibate. Let me stop doing it for 5 months and I'm okay. It's a lie. You can come back again. You can go back
Mm.
again until you change your mindset about it, until you know that, you know, saying things like, I can function without, you know, wanting sex all the time. I can function without watching pornography. I can function without masturbation. I can function without having
Mm.
sex. I can, you know, things like that. It can begin to, you know, reconfigure your mind, your brain and all. So let me share with you some ways I feel I know that can help one who is battling sexual addiction right now. Maybe you are single and you want to get married, you have somebody you want to get married, but you can't just, you know, keep yourself shy. You can't just wait till marriage. You just want to do it. And it's not that you know that it's not good though, but you just
Mm.
can't control yourself. Or you are married and you find it difficult to stay faithful, and you are engaged in pornography, you're engaged, because it's not everybody that goes to cheat. Most people just want to watch pornography, just want to masturbate, just to,
Masturbate.
yes, just to relieve those stress, just to, you know, cope with those trauma that they are feeling. So one of the ways I wrote down here that can help is, first of all, I believe in psychoeducation. I believe in my clients getting to know about whatever issue, whatever subject they are dealing with. It's very important that
Mm-hmm.
you do a research. I know we know all this, we know counselors, therapists, we know, but it's very important that
Mm-hmm.
you too go and research about this thing.
And
Do your
research
findings.
about, yeah.
Do your findings. You know you're suffering from this. Do your findings. Go and check. What is really the cause of this? How does my brain really work? I've given you a summary, but we can't go deep dive because we have just less than how many minutes to go. Also, go and check. Why am I acting like this? Why can't I control myself? What is making my wife detached from me? What is going on? Do I need to talk to her? Should we have a conversation? You know, it is when you are aware of something, that is where you can target it. So you know, be praying and
Handle,
miss.
yeah.
Don't go and pray and miss. Understand what the problem is. Understand that this is a problem and this is how you can solve it. Okay, my brain is functioning like this. Oh, okay. Now I know how to, you know, when I feel this way, so I know how to now handle it. I know how to take myself back. And maybe I should have an
Mm.
accountability partner. Maybe I should have, you know, be in a
Partner,
support group.
yeah. Or
Maybe,
should
you
I
know,
just walk out?
Yeah.
So I can
He
relieve
had to just
myself
run
of
away
that
like Joseph
thought.
flee.
Yeah.
Joseph flee. So he ran away.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
but that needs, you need to build that resilience and stamina to be able to do
Yeah.
that.